Right, if you're just tuning in, you're watching the SABC's Prime News, and usually at this time we have a whole edition of Prime Biz, but because the holidays are about, we won't be bringing you business news. Instead, on Prime this week, we're going to be focusing on other issues. Now, in studio right now, joining me, during the festive season celebrations, excitement can get the best of revelers. The levels of noise increase in residential areas and the use of fireworks are commonplace. But have you considered the laws that accompany noise levels and the use of firecrackers? And are you aware of the impact your celebrations have on your neighbours as well as pets? I'm joined now in studio by Wayne Mina, someone that you know very well, spokesperson of the Johannesburg Metropolitan Police Department, as well as Meg Wilson, who's Communications Manager at the National Council of Societies for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, the SPCA. To both of you, thank you very much for joining us. Welcome to you. Let me start with you, Wayne, because you have many hats that you have to wear during this period of time, and one of them is enforcing the Explosives Act. Tell us what that entails and what that means to our viewers and people who might be celebrating this weekend.
Yes, look, it's about igniting fireworks in a responsible manner. Now, if there are going to be revelers or people celebrating New Year in an irresponsible manner, then obviously, unfortunately, we're going to have to take action. So it's about not igniting fireworks near animals, not to ignite fireworks near old age homes and hospitals, and also where there are children, that adults should be present when they ignite fireworks, because the fireworks go with celebration for New Year's Eve and on New Year's Day.
Is there anywhere that people can go to check what the regulations are and the stipulations that they must comply with?
Oh yes, in Joburg they can go onto the Joburg city website, and there is a full list of what they can do and what they must not do. But it's not complicated. There are stipulated times for igniting fireworks, that is on New Year's Eve from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. It's permissible, but it must also be responsible, in a responsible way. And then on New Year's Day, they may ignite fireworks from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Now, there are fines for igniting fireworks outside of those stipulated times. And then there are also fines for igniting fireworks when there is a danger, like where there are children present, where there are animals present, or for near to a hospital, as an example. So it's about just celebrating in a responsible manner.
All right, so with these fireworks, Meg, I can only imagine every year you're very concerned at this time of the year because of the effect that it has on animals.
Most definitely. At SPCA's, New Year's Day is one of the busiest days for the SPCA's. There's a lot of strays coming in, a lot of injured animals. Because what people forget is that animals are sentient. They feel fear and distress, and the loud noises from fireworks is a lot louder to an animal than to a person, which causes them to fight or flight. And a lot of the times they get impaled in fences, they jump through windows. A lot of awful things happen to animals at this time of year, and they get lost. So it is a very, very huge day for SPCA's.
Is there a way then to do these things in consideration of animals, or to do it so that animals are not in distress?
Well, first of all, the people that are letting off fireworks should be aware of the animals around them and take them into consideration. But the people who are responsible for the animals are the owners, and they should be putting things in place to ensure that their animals are protected at this time, whether it's bring their animals inside, play music to try and distract them from the noise, ensure that they're not in a room with low windows, rather in a room with high windows. And then, of course, you know, be at home with your animals, especially if you know that they are terrified of the noises. Rather stay at home with them.
You've talked about the fear. What sort of injuries typically do animals, and what type of animals are most at threat?
It's all animals, and it's something that we also forget. It's not only our domesticated dogs and cats, it's also our wildlife. I mean, we have birds in our trees that are terrified of the noise as well. So to take into consideration every single animal that's potentially in the environment that the fireworks are being let off at. And like I say, it's fight or flight. A lot of the times dogs are impaled in fences, they run into the street, get knocked over by cars. It's really, really a terrible thing.
And I suppose one of the things that you have to watch out for, and you, Wayne, is some people are just cruel to animals at this time of the year.
Yes. Now, where people are cruel or where they purposely injure or hurt animals, they can be arrested and they can be charged for cruelty to animals. And they can also be imposed other criminal charges such as malicious damage to property and also for assault. So there are charges that can be brought against people who actually hurt animals.
You get inundated with animals at this time of the year. Why is that? What happens?
At this time of the year, it's known as the silly season. We all know it as a silly season. People go away, they leave their animals with who they think is responsible to look after them, and sometimes they're not responsible. Animals are used to routine, they're used to their people as well. They're just like people. So when someone new comes into their home, they might not be too sure of it, they might get out the gate and get lost. And then a lot of the times people get puppies and kittens for Christmas and dump their older animals at SPCAs and shelters, which is really, really sad. Animals are for life at the end of the day, but a lot of the time the novelty is more important.
All right, so, you know, people will party, but there's a responsibility that comes with partying. There's going to be lots of events, but talk about noise. How do you measure what's allowed and what's not allowed? What level becomes ridiculous?
Yes, I know. Look, house parties is a norm at this time of the year. So what we are allowing is to have a party up until 10 o'clock. So
10 o'clock at
10
night?
o'clock. 10 o'clock, that's
New Year's Eve is
on
at midnight.
New Year's Eve obviously is the exception to the norm, with people then being allowed to celebrate the New Year's Eve and into the early hours. But other than that, it's a norm that if you're having a party, it's fine. You can play your music, but at 10 o'clock, after 10 o'clock, it's not acceptable anymore. Then also, be neighborly. Communicate with your neighbors. Tell your neighbors, look, we're going to be having a party and you're going to expect some noise, and please accommodate us or join us if you're having a party. And then let's celebrate the New Year's Eve in a responsible manner so that other people are not inconvenienced. Because it does happen that at this time of the year, there are people who go overboard and their neighbors complain, and then the officers have to intervene and then have to take action, unfortunate action, confiscating of sound systems, as an example, or even arresting those celebrating because they are out of control. So it's just about responsible celebration.
So what time on New Year's Day, once we've gone past midnight, can we say it's still okay to party until? Because obviously 4 o'clock in the morning, I want to be sleeping by now, but next door neighbor, they're going mad.
Yes, absolutely. Look, on New Year's Eve, we will allow celebration up until 1 a.m., as is the case with fireworks. After 1 a.m., if the noise is really unbearably loud, then it would become unreasonable. Then officers, obviously, then would have to intervene.
All right. What else should people be cognizant of that we haven't mentioned, perhaps, particularly on New Year's Eve and the early hours, because they're normally asleep, a lot of these animals, at 1 o'clock in the morning. So that there is that added drama, but what else should we be cognizant of?
I think to be mindful of your surroundings, and the SPCA can't action anything unless we know about it. So if you see cruelty, contact your local SPCA. And not only that, keep in mind that the SPCA's work throughout the year, and the festive season is particularly busy, not only from the influx of animals, but we still are inspecting the abattoirs and the various animal businesses where animals are involved in. Over this festive season, when they're on skeleton staff, a lot of things go wrong. We've just had an avian influenza break out in the Western Cape, which SPCAs have reacted to. So to bear in mind that the SPCAs are very busy this year, and we need eyes out there. So if they see any cruelty to animals, to report it as soon as possible.
Which areas? Is it urban areas, cities? Is it suburbs that animals are most vulnerable?
In terms of fireworks, I think suburbs are incredibly vulnerable because people are living so close together. So in terms of the fireworks, it would be then. But animals are vulnerable all around our country at this time of year.
All right. And the beaches? What's happening there? You know, one assumes that the beaches, Wayne, you don't have any beaches to worry about. Or
yes, yeah, there are no beaches. Or even though we do have parks, though, like the zoo, is a good example. Yeah. There will be a celebration as long as it is done in a responsible manner, and also if there is any noise, that it is reasonable, because there are also people living around the park who also are entitled to their peace and quiet. So for those who will be celebrating, just do it in a reasonable manner so that everyone can be happy.
In the inner city, I mean, my first time in Hillbrow many years ago on New Year's Eve, I got the fright of my life because I saw a fridge literally fall in front of me as I was trying to drive through the road. Have those kinds of insane celebrations disappeared, or what's happening there?
Yes, look, it appears as if the carnival now is more point of focus, where everyone comes together, where there are different cultures of celebration, different colors and different song and different way of doing things to bring in the new year. So that is a good thing that we've done in the city of Joburg, where people now celebrate in the carnival, and that is also a way of bringing people together. So we also will be having then the big music festival on Mary Fitzgerald Square in the evening of New Year's Eve, where there will be hundreds of New Year's Eve revelers coming into the city to celebrate, which will be done in a controlled fashion. We'll be blocking off roads around the Mary Fitzgerald Square, and there will also be a fireworks display from the Mike 1 freeway, where we will also control traffic from. And then we just want to just ask everyone who will be celebrating New Year's Eve to be responsible, to be considerate, and very importantly, think of the animals.
Okay. So, Meg, a lot of people will be going out, and they'll be going out for a lot longer than normal on New Year's Day, New Year's Eve. What sort of precautions, or what can they do to, I don't know, prepare their animals that they leave behind at home?
Okay, well, definitely for one, take your animals inside. Don't leave them outside. Preferably in a room where windows are higher, so that they can't jump through the windows if they do get a fright. Okay. And if you know that your animals are particularly frightful with big noises, speak to your local veterinarian to get medication that can calm them down. So
like a sedative or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So don't drink and drive, I guess.
Absolute big problem with the accident rate already as high as what it is. It's a huge concern to us. We really want to appeal to drivers. If you're going to be drinking, celebrating, make alternative arrangements. There are a lot of cabs, the insurance companies that provide that kind of service. So don't drink and drive. Don't be reckless. There are already many drivers who are driving above the speed limit have been arrested over the past few days, and have already had to appear in court for excessive speed. So if they're going to be celebrating, just be responsible. Don't drink and drive, don't speed, don't be reckless. Let's welcome in the new year in a responsible manner.
All right, Wayne and Meg, thank you very much indeed to both of you for making sure that we're cognizant of these important issues. And so that's Meg Wilson and Wayne Minnar. And so don't forget, be aware of the animals around you. They are frightened, traumatized, and they can actually injure themselves because this is not what they're used to. So and if you see anything, report it, observe, and report it so that the inspectors can come round. And also, please, 1 o'clock is your cut-off time. Once you've gone past midnight, it's the new year, so you don't have to party until 5 o'clock in the morning. And don't drink and drive, or have a designated driver as well. Very, very important. Okay, we're going to take a quick